Good morning, everybody. To me, the name Mark Williams is a name that I'm very, very familiar with. Obviously, probably most famous as Arthur Weasley, but also been in a lot of other TV shows. The actor, comedy actor, Mark Williams, very, very famous. And also the Welsh snooker champion, Mark Williams, fantastic player, still going strong, a bit like John Higgins and the Rocket himself. They're still playing at the top of their game, and they're all in their 40s. Bit like myself, I wish. So to me, the name Mark Williams is one, as I say, that I'm very familiar with. But we now have a third incredibly famous Mark Williams, apparently a much older fellow who retired but then came back to try and help the beleaguered Assistant Attorney General of Wisconsin, Mr. Thomas Fallon. What has transpired, of course, is that Tom Fallon himself has got an attorney called Mark Williams, who has inadvertently, in trying to phone Tom Fallon, left a phone message, a voicemail, on Kathleen Zellner's personal number, personal telephone number. I wonder if Kathleen Zellner gave him that number, or if they have had previous conversations. But for some strange reason, Mark Williams has managed to phone Kathleen Zellner. How that came about makes you wonder, doesn't it? I'm thinking of the rats abandoning the ship, but maybe I'm just too wishful thinking in that regard. That Mark Williams has not done it completely by accident. And of course, the content of the message was, we're going to have to look into this evidence bag and see what we've still got left, what we've handed over to the holdbacks, and what we've got left in the bag. But of course, it transpires that since Kathleen Zellner has been involved in the case, the state, through Tom Fallon, have represented to her that they are in possession of the pelvic bone, and in fact, just prior to Judge Flowers, Angela Superwitch, suddenly, inexplicably dismissing Kathleen Zellner's motion with just 6 pages of explanations. It was right in the middle of negotiations between Zellner and Fallon on having not just the pelvic bone tested, but also the skull fragments. They particularly want to have a look at the skull fragments because there could be some interesting things for the scientists to look at under the microscope. And I can't help thinking that since Making a Murderer #2 came out, the case has really progressed rapidly. I remember at times in 2016, 2017, and even through 2018, there were certainly some lulls in what was going on. There wasn't a lot going on. There was a lot of having to wait for things to develop. But certainly since Making a Murderer #2 came out, things have progressed very, very, very rapidly. At least certainly to me, it seems to be the case. Way back in spring and summer of 2016, as some of you will know, I had a series of phone conversations with the Sheriff of Manitowoc, who was just recently retired, Mr. Robert Hermann. We got on quite well. We didn't just chat about the case, although obviously that was our main topic of conversation, but we did discuss one or two other things in a very friendly way, and we exchanged, well, I've got about 4 emails that that he sent to me, and some of them, they were very pleasant. Things like, Scotland looks beautiful, I must come and visit sometime, and it was nice to chat to you, have a good weekend, you know, very, very pleasant. But I remember on one occasion talking about the case, and me saying to him, look, I think this whole thing is just going to fall down around your ears. I think you're going to be in serious trouble. And he just stopped me and said, look, Paul, let me tell you something. And he sort of said, Mr. Avery will spend the rest of his life in prison. Which, I can't remember exactly what I said at the time. I said, well, that's maybe your opinion. I don't think that's going to be the case. But it was a certain chill about what he'd said, certainly. Although I took it as being, although I didn't say it at the time, I took it as being a case of, well, either that's a line that he has repeated over and over and over again to the point where he actually starts to believe what he's just said. That could be the case, definitely. I took it as being a little bit more deeper than that, in that, to me, it sounded like he had had reassurances from higher up the food chain that, don't worry about Stephen Avery, we've got him where he is and he's going to stay there. Don't worry about it. That's how I took it. And all I can say, Robert, is if you're still sure that Stephen Avery is going to spend the rest of his life in prison, then remember that word that you're looking for. It's delusional. You really are delusional. If you think that those incompetent clowns in the Attorney General's office can protect Manitrock Sheriff's Department with the way they have been seen, they've been proven to behave. And I'm not just meaning about, you know, an old fella making a phone call by accident. It's not the fact that he made the phone call. It's the content of that phone call. The fact that we're getting to realise that the state have been messing Kathleen Zellner about over these bones for 3 years now. And in the immortal words of the dude, it will not abide. It's not going to abide. You think Stephen Avery is going to spend the rest of his life in prison? In the film The Big Lebowski, one of the funny characters, Jesus, the bowler, says, "Laughable, man, laughable," and that's exactly the state of the way that the state is carrying on in this case. They really, you know, I've said it before. You've been caught in a very uncompromising position with your trousers down. Kathleen Zellner is going for full on, showing everybody exactly what has gone wrong in this case. All that your protectors are doing is simply digging a bigger and bigger and a bigger hole for themselves. It really is laughable the way that the state of Wisconsin is carrying on in this case. As I said, it will not abide. Kathleen Zellner is well and truly on her way to proving you wrong. Let me put it this way, Robert. Stephen Avery will not be spending the rest of his life in prison. There, that's my opinion, okay? We'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.